A lot of people who watch our videos think Pin and I are a couple. I understand why. Earlier this year, after the hardest breakup of my life, she left Xiamen and moved to Longgang to live with me. But our story did not begin with that breakup. It began 13 years ago, in a college dorm room. And today, we are getting ready to face a typhoon together. Just yesterday, the sky was still bright and clear. Piggy slept deeply in the living room. By evening, the whole sky was glowing. None of us knew what today would feel like. Hi, I'm Momo. Right now, Pin and I are standing on the balcony, checking the weather. A typhoon is moving toward Longgang. The news says it may make landfall tonight. The sky has turned gray. The trees below sway in the wind. Even the parked vehicles seem to tremble slightly. The wind keeps getting stronger. And before we start, I should answer the question from the beginning. No, Pin and I are not a couple. We met as college roommates 13 years ago. Now we are living together again. The weather is getting worse, so we start with the balcony. First, we bring the drying rack inside. Anything left outside could be blown over later. The rain has not started yet, so we still have a little time. We want to finish as much as possible before the wind becomes too strong. Next, we wash Piggy's carrier. This is not part of our usual cleaning. It is part of our emergency plan for her. If the typhoon becomes too dangerous, we may need to leave quickly. In that situation, we want to put Piggy inside and take her with us immediately. We do not know whether we will need it tonight, but we do not want to wait until the last minute.
应该是能
挤是肯定能挤进去的，猫是液体，可能不太舒服，但是都到那个时候了，舒服已经是其次了。那我们要给它放在哪里晾干吗？
放在那边旁边空的。
如果擦一下，是不是比较容易干？
对。
Once it is clean, we leave it by the window to dry. Piggy does not know what all this means. She only knows that we keep moving things around the apartment. For her, this probably feels like a very strange afternoon. Now we add some protection to the windows. We do not know how strong the wind will become tonight. The windows are the part of the apartment that worries us most. At this point, all we can do is prepare as carefully as possible. Maybe we will not need all of this, but it is better to do it now than regret it later. Our washing machine and dryer are close to the balcony windows, so we cover them too. If rain gets inside, both machines could be damaged. Piggy lies on the bed behind us. She quietly watches everything. She does not seem worried yet. Maybe she thinks we are simply rearranging the apartment again. Next, we move the vases away from the windows. We bring the clothes hangers inside too. Then we check every door and window again. Anything loose could become dangerous in strong wind. Piggy has moved onto a storage box. From there, she can see the whole room. She looks like a very serious supervisor. She is not helping, but she is definitely watching. These are the emergency supplies we have prepared. We have enough food and water for 3 or 4 days. A strong typhoon may cause power cuts or interrupt the water supply. If we cannot go outside for a few days, we should still be okay. Maybe we will not need everything, but having it ready makes us feel a little more secure. Ping starts making rice noodle soup for dinner. Piggy sits on the dining table and keeps her company.
爸爸，回答我 ，Answer me，宝贝。
At home, Ping usually cooks. I usually wash the dishes afterward. That is how we divide the kitchen work for now. I still have a lot to learn about cooking, but I want to start trying. Maybe one day, I will make dinner while Ping waits at the table. Tonight, she is still the one in charge of the kitchen. Outside, the wind continues to grow stronger. Inside, dinner looks almost the same as any other evening. This is what most of our life together looks like. Nothing dramatic. One person cooks, the other takes care of something else nearby, and Piggy finds a place somewhere between us. Ping and I met in 2013. We share the same college dorm room. We went to class together. We ate together. And somewhere inside those small daily moments, we became close friends. We graduated in 2017. After that, we started working in different cities. We no longer saw each other every day, but we never stopped keeping in touch. For many years, our friendship continued through messages and occasional visits. Then, earlier this year, my life changed very suddenly. I went through a very painful breakup. At the time, I felt as if the life I knew was falling apart. I did not know what the next few months would look like. Ping was living in Xiamen then. Because she can work remotely, she was able to leave the city. She came from Xiamen to Longgang. And now we share this home. She did not arrive with a perfect answer. She could not change what had already happened. She simply came. Since Ping moved in, we have shared the rent and our daily expenses. That lowers the cost of living for both of us. Living together is not only about emotional support. It is also about very practical things. Rent, food, electricity, water, and all the small expenses that come with daily life. Sharing them makes life a little easier for both of us. The soup is almost ready now. Piggy keeps looking toward the pot. She is probably more interested in dinner than the weather. The rice noodle soup is ready. We sit down to eat before the weather gets worse. Outside, the wind sounds louder. Inside, the soup is still warm. For a little while, we stop moving things. We stop checking the windows. We simply eat dinner together. This may be the calmest part of the evening. Small routines can make an unusual day feel normal.
真的是超好吃。
师兄他们还会煮黄鳝饭呢。
他们自己煮的吗？
After dinner, the rain begins. The sound outside changes almost immediately.
爸爸，你睡醒了？你睡醒了，爸爸。
Piggy wakes up and sits by the window. She washes her face, as if nothing unusual is happening. Ping looks outside. Piggy lifts her little head to see what Ping is watching. She is curious about everything, but she still does not seem afraid. Maybe the rain is only another sound to her. Ping and I went out to check the stairwell. All the doors and windows are already closed. The underground parking area has also been prepared. Everyone in the building seems to be staying inside now. The usual sounds of people coming and going have disappeared. The whole building seems to be waiting for the storm. Back home, we store more water. Piggy sleeps on top of the wardrobe. She has found one of the highest and quietest places in the room. The sky is almost dark now. The wind keeps building. The news says the typhoon may make landfall at around 11 tonight. We only have a few final things left to do. Now we move both computer desks away from the windows. Ping normally works at one of them during the day. After I come home from work, I use the other one to edit my videos. We each have our own desk. Most evenings, those two desks are where we spend our time. But tonight, both of them are too close to the glass. So we move them farther into the room. It changes the whole shape of the room. But tonight, safety matters more than routine. Next, we move the small shelf. Piggy still sits quietly on the dining table. She has followed us from one room to another all evening. Every time something moves, she finds a new place to watch from. We close the curtains. Then we cut the power to the air conditioner. At this point, there is not much more we can do. The windows are protected. The furniture has been moved. The food and water are ready. Piggy's carrier is clean and dry. Now we wait.
看什么？还这么认真？
再过半小时，台风就要来了。我们来看一下。
There is about half an hour left before landfall. The street outside is completely empty. No cars, no people. Usually, cars, electric scooters, and delivery drivers pass below our apartment. There is almost always some movement. But right now, there is no one. Even the street seems to be waiting.
说话。
This is what our living room looks like now. Everything that could be moved is away from the windows. It looks completely different from usual, but at least it is ready.
进下去，哦，猪猪已经进来了，呀！
他自己进去了。
对，就这里。台风要来了，宝宝。
Piggy walks into the bedroom before us. Maybe she has decided this is the safest room. She waits for us there. She looks so cute that I cannot resist getting close to her. For a moment, I almost forget about the wind outside. We close the bedroom curtains. Then, we adjust Piggy's litter box. We check her water, and we make sure she has enough food. If the weather becomes worse, everything she needs is already in this room. Her carrier is ready too. If we need to leave, we can take her with us immediately. Piggy walks across the computer desk. It looks like one final inspection. Maybe she wants to make sure we have prepared everything properly. Ping brings the slippers inside. That is the last small thing left outside. Now everything is ready. The typhoon makes landfall. The wind outside suddenly becomes much louder. Piggy hears it too. She lowers her body and stays very still. For a moment, she looks nervous. The rain hits the windows. The sound fills the whole room. We listen to what is happening outside, and we wait to see what happens next. The wind is strong, but so far, everything inside remains calm. The windows hold. Everything we moved stays in place. We have done everything we can. Now we stay together and wait. Outside, the wind is still strong. But Piggy begins to relax. She returns to the bed. Then she starts kneading the blanket. A few minutes ago, she was crouching and listening to the storm. Now she feels safe enough to make herself comfortable again. A few months ago, I thought my breakup would destroy my life. It happened, and it hurt, but it did not destroy me. Pain could not stop it from happening. She could not make the pain disappear either. She simply came, and she stayed. Tonight, the typhoon is really here. The wind is still loud outside, but Piggy is kneading the blanket again. Pain is here, and life inside this room is carrying on.